Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to What Would Dorcy Do? I am Dorcy Pruter, the CEO and founder of the Conscious Co-Parenting Institute, and I am super excited to be coming to you live this afternoon, just before Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And I know that sometimes the holidays, probably most of the time, the holidays can be really challenging, especially if you are not spending time with your children. And so today I just wanted to take a little bit of time to just kind of go over some things or some strategies that you can implement this weekend as we're going into Mother's Day weekend and really celebrating yourself. And just because you don't have time with your children or they're being cold or rude and disrespectful doesn't make you any less of a mom. And probably makes you even more of a mom because you're dealing with some of the darkest days that we have to experience as a parent. And so I just want to talk a little bit about overcoming some of that darkness and really bringing joy back into your heart and into your life. So as your children fold back in, they're not folding back into a dark place. They're folding back into the joyous place, the authenticity of who you are. And there are always times in our life when something bad happens and it really creates the most profound darkness that you've ever experienced. And this family dynamic can really take a toll on you and you feel like you've never overcome it or that you'll never overcome it. But there are also many, many, many people who've overcome the alienation story in their life. And so I want you to be thinking about your belief system and where you're holding yourself stuck so that you can move forward into recovering your unbreakable bond with your children. So remember, our thoughts become things, and I want you to be thinking about the good ones. So these emotions and these experiences come on different ends of the spectrum, right? Really challenging to things that we can actually appreciate and find on the positive side of life. But one must think about that and bring that into their lives. So manifesting that. So the key is to identify other things that bring you joy and peace and infiltrate that dark space with those things. And so strategies like a new activity. There are likely many things that you've never tried, which could bring you immense pleasure. Sometimes just doing something new is what you need to take your mind off the negative state that you've been living in and finding joy in something unexpected. So maybe try your hand at a new hobby. Maybe live on the edge and go skydiving or bungee jumping or travel abroad. Maybe go take a safari, in Africa. Doing things, planning things that you wouldn't necessarily do can take your mind out of that really stuck place of being in the darkness. Also, enjoy the company of people that love you. Spending time with family and friends is a really great way to really rehabilitate your state of mind and truly experience joy. You are 100% in charge of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. And so putting yourself in a position of really receiving unconditional love and joy will help shift your state of mind. And you really want to be around people that unconditionally love you and that can offer you as much support as you need. So hang out with them, especially if you have a tendency to go to a negative place during the holidays like Mother's Day, and really experience that internal healing that comes from being around people that treat you well and receiving. Allow your heart to just open and receive the unconditional love that people have for you. And then hold firm if you are spiritual or faithful, have a faith. Hold strong to that. Create habits, new habits in your life to create a new positive mindset. You don't have to be spiritual or you don't have to be religious to create the space of creating habits of positive thinking. So you want to think with your mind, not your emotions. So you have to make the conscious effort to separate thinking and reasoning from your feelings. Otherwise, you're likely to start believing that nothing will ever work out, your kids will never come back, all of those things. So you have to apply reasoning to the circumstance which led to this place and use the same reasoning to get yourself out of this space and into a brighter place. So you'll start to feel yourself being lifted from the darkness, from those dark feelings, if you allow yourself to practice things that really bring you joy. And it's not always going to be an easy road, but you'll be able to travel it if you commit yourself to allowing yourself to find outside influences that can help you turn around and lean into the positive things, the joy that you have in your life. One of our clients that participates in the Chosen Parent Collective had a brilliant idea the other night. I told her I was going to steal it. So thank you, Robin. She sends herself a Mother's Day card every year and writes herself messages that she would want to receive for Mother's Day. And she's always surprised and delighted when she gets it in the mail. What a brilliant idea. Such a wonderful way to remind yourself of how special you are and the importance it is or your role is as mother. So this weekend, maybe treat yourself to a spa or walk on the beach or in nature, grounding yourself into the place of really anchoring yourself into something positive. And when you're dealing with this level of rejection, it can be overwhelming. So it's not pleasant, obviously, but take the opportunity this weekend to take a short break. Take the opportunity to treat yourself to something positive, something you really enjoy doing. Your children really want you to be happy. And when they fold back in, they want to fold back into somebody who's happy. And just realize that there are so many opportunities for you to raise your vibration into the place of joy and peace. Remember, it's an inner game. Peace and joy are an inside thing. And there are plenty of things that you can do this weekend to really get yourself out and enjoy your life. Enjoy celebrating the fact that you are a mom and that you brought children into the world, which is a massive feat in itself. And learn from the rejection. On the Chosen Parent Collective the other night, I was talking to a couple of parents, and one of the moms there, there were some things that she had done that didn't make the situation better and actually made it worse, especially when she didn't really understand what was going on. And she asked, what should I do about that? And should I apologize for this laundry list of things? And the answer is no, don't apologize for things you haven't done. However, if there are things that you can take responsibility for, with regards to making matters worse, then yes, you should take responsibility for those things. Just remember, you're doing this out of a place of unconditional love and not out of a place of needing something in return. So you're doing that to clean that up for yourself and for your children. And also avoid automatically assuming that the reason that this is happening is because your children don't love you. There are so many people that come into our world that think my children hate me, so there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to give up. And that's just simply not true. Your children don't hate you, even when they say they do. They're just caught in an impossible or what feels like an impossible situation right now. And if you're slumped into the doldrums, they don't know how to get out of it. So they're waiting for you and they're looking to you for your leadership. So it's really, really important for you to rise up and find that space of unconditional love for yourself and joy. And just remember that each rejection or each little tick in the rejection brings you closer and closer to your success of reuniting. And so quitting is a guaranteed way to never reunite. So it's really important that you're taking little steps, any step, positive forward motion. Pour unconditional love into yourself. So not just into your children, which is the advice I give a lot, but also into yourself. And maybe the message to your children this weekend is how grateful you are for bringing them into the world, or them choosing you to come in through you into the world, which is this divine gift of becoming mother. So it could be flipping the narrative like that. And you never know, that could be the one thing that kicks the door open. So just monitor yourself, your self-talk, keep your thoughts positive and upbeat. When you catch yourself going to the negative, replace it with a positive thought. Notice how it's showing up in your body. Maybe you need a little self-care in that area of your body. Treat yourself well. A failure isn't an excuse to mistreat yourself. So no over consuming alcohol or overeating, excessive spending on money you don't have. Celebrate, right? Celebrate the fact that you're making an effort, and maybe your rejection even deserves a small reward as you take a step forward. So rejection is just an undesired outcome, and it's no different than, it's no different than like burning the bottom of the cookies when you were trying to make them perfect, right? You wouldn't walk off out of the kitchen and say, oh my God, I'm a failure. I'm never going to bake again. We all have issues and things that we deal with. And so it's about taking positive steps forward. So just remind yourself that you take action, that you put your ideas into action, and that you trust your heart and you're moving forward and you hold yourself accountable and you live up to the commitments that you make to yourself, whether it's taking one little step forward in pouring unconditional love into your children or pouring unconditional love into yourself. And just simplify your life. Avoid overcommitting yourself and interfering with your healing process, and live in the moment. Focus on what you can do today instead of rehashing the past and trying to predict the future and trying to figure everything out. Just build your confidence. That comes with building competence, and competence comes from taking action. One little step forward, one foot in front of the other. Just keep moving forward. And maybe ask yourself, how does taking action help me to overcome my fear of not reuniting, right? Maybe how does taking action, or what's the one thing I can do this weekend to really fill my cup up with love? Sometimes we're trying to love from an empty cup. So you've got to fill your cup with unconditional love so that you can give from your saucer. We are running a special this weekend. So if you have been wanting to take one of our classes and you want to go deeper in this work with us, we are offering 50% off for Mother's Day weekend on all of our courses or not all of our courses, on Reunited, Higher Purpose Parenting, healing from emotional trauma, and I'm not sure what other courses. So my team will put in the chat what courses and the link, and the code for 50% off this weekend. So if you want to take one of our online courses and you've been waiting to take the class, and this may be just the opportunity for you to go ahead and get enrolled and do some self-care, some self-love by learning how to show up differently for yourself and for your children. So for the moms out there, I just want to wish you an abundantly loving, happy Mother's Day. You are a mom, always a mom, will always be a mom, despite what's going on in your life right now. So for all the moms here in heaven, all around, I wish you peace, joy, and happiness on this Mother's Day. I hope you find time and space to take care of yourself and to reward yourself and celebrate yourself for being mom. So happy Mother's Day, everyone. Just remember, peace in so that you can have peace out. I love you so much, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everyone.